Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel, Hazel Anaka Design. I had a desire, let me get a tic tac before the coughing starts. I had a desire to do something other than Christmas. So I picked up this project that I had started and sort of got stalled on. So basically what I've got here, before I start, I should say thank you for joining me. If you are new here, thanks for finding me by accident or on purpose. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome. I want and need you all, so I appreciate that you're here, and hopefully you'll find this a good use of your time. So this is essentially the start of a journal cover. It is 15 by 9, which is rather big. But of course, I didn't measure it before I started. Oh, see? Good thing I'm talking to you. Helps talk me through the process. This was what I was intending to use as a focal point. This is the halfway mark. That's a bizarre size. That is, well, 7.5 inches, half of 15. Now, of course, that would shrink back if, sorry, I'm just trying to wrestle this thing to the ground here. Now that's the center. So, I mean, if that was one signature, then yeah, that would be an accurate representation. If a person, I have enough space though to make this a bigger spine. Just gonna crease it slightly to get a feel for that. So pretend it was like so. Which makes more sense. That only took off half an inch or so. Which means, well, maybe this will just be an oversized one. Because I basically had my heart set on that. Not only did I fussy cut that and add this to cover a price tag boo-boo, but I backed it to give it a little more oomph. So I think I'm pretty well wedded to this idea. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about the size. Typically, when something is wider than 12 inches, I would say to myself, oh, I'll just turn it in and make a side tuck or something. But in this case, I'm not going to. I'm not going to say that. I should just try to tack this down a bit. Anyway, this, I don't think, or if I did know what date this magazine was from, I certainly don't remember now. But you can tell, both from the image, from this, that it was old, plus the fragility of the paper. So basically, and this is good advice, I think, for anyone to use, that if you come across something that you want to use, especially if it's as small as a crochet book, you can easily use every speck of it. So I'll show you some of the things I fussy cut. And I love the drama and the high contrast between the black background and the white, or whatever, however that reads to you, almost reads as gray, I guess, of the lace work. Now I still have these odds and ends, and I'm probably going to need pretty well everything here, because even with my big focal point, you know, I've got little bits. It's kind of touch and go as to whether or not I've covered enough there. I'll show you what else I have done. I used a piece of black construction or cardstock and tore around these images and mounted them on here. So when the time comes, I'll just cut them out and I'll have either pockets or journaling cards. Now, I guess the disadvantage to black paper is that a person would need to use a white gel pen or invisible ink. That would be great. Anyway, okay, we'll put that aside. I also have this. Oh, I wonder if the date would have been there. Anyway, it's probably long gone. So this, of course, you know, with some trimming could be a belly band. Trimming and reinforcement could be a belly band. I also have a piece like this. This has also been backed and could be a pocket. So let us just carry on. So, of course, now I'm not really sure what Cluny lace is. I mean, it looks quite different based on all these pictures. Like, I don't know. I mean, and obviously I didn't read the book. But, so I pulled some bits of lace together thinking, well, okay, if I add something like that, obviously it ties in with the theme of with the pages and the papers I've used. But lace is see-through. It doesn't cover up my little bald patch there. I also brought some black in. Maybe I would use this one instead. You know, but again, same scenario. So maybe this will get used elsewhere. But I think, and I also thought I could use this little thing here, you know, at some point. However, I still don't think I really have enough of this perimeter covered. So I'm going to set those bits aside and maybe just add a few more pieces. The paper is extremely fragile, as I've already said. So you get a nice torn edge. So maybe if I put this here, I put this in before I turned the camera on because I wasn't even that far down. So maybe I'll put a patch there and a patch there. And again, it's not so much that there's a shortage of supplies here or anything. It's just that, you know, you don't necessarily want to bulk this up more than you have to. So that is that. You know, I've already said that in years past, I've never done Christmas journals, Christmas crafting at all. And I remember as a, you know, as an armchair quarterback, as a viewer thinking, oh my goodness, these Christmas videos, they start so early. Is everybody doing Christmas? Is there nothing on tap for someone like me who doesn't want to do Christmas? So, yeah, I feel like I needed some distance from some of that stuff. I'll just put this piece in because it's neither here nor there in terms of size or shape. It will fill that gap. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I was so eager to get this, to start working on this video, that I forgot that I was planning to show you a second option. Somewhere here, I have a smaller envelope and some images started, but maybe that'll be its own video. I should put something over there as well. Now, so far I haven't really used any images on this background because I kind of wanted to stick with my plan. And I have enough of these fussy cut things that I should be able to get the impact I want. You know, without oh, I'm still videotaping. That's a good thing. I honestly, I don't get it. My phone did not ring. I don't think I put it on stop notifications, which somebody told me about the other day, so that videos aren't interrupted. So I see a message on my laptop about a call, yet the phone never rang. It's a mystery. Anyway, yeah, so all these papers, you may not be able to see from where you're sitting, that these are just all pages out of this crochet book. So in essence, if you play your cards right, you can use up one whole publication and feel immensely proud of yourself. I hope you're having a good day. I'm going to try to refrain from talking about days and whatever, because when you're scheduling videos, it has very little to do with look at this, just tearing on that crack. Very little to do with when someone might be seeing them. I should bring my little garbage basket closer instead of reaching across the screen. So envelope journals have a lot of potential. Number one, they're quick and easy. Maybe I'll stop right there because maybe something else will cover up and I don't need to keep on keeping on. This I also rounded up a while ago. It's obviously a doily that I have been cannibalizing. I also have a whole doily. The thing is, this one is fairly thick. So I'm thinking that maybe what I should do instead is just hang tough with this one and see what happens when signatures are sewn in, and maybe use that over the spine. There's a bit of that same doily. And of course these two, which are probably machine, I would say these are machine made for sure. So maybe let's have a look. Where did my thing go? So at this point, I could, boy. I'm thinking about an option here, but I don't really like it. To cut the doily down, that really is stealing very little bit of space. I think I'm just going to plow ahead with my plan and let the chips, boy, gotta be perfect with this gluing or something's gonna show. I better add something more there. How about this way? Then I get that. Yeah, I think it's a bit late in the game to second guess. I'll just have to contend with whatever happens. And it doesn't hurt that this is going over the eventual spine, because it just helps reinforce it. Okay, now maybe we finally have coverage. Okay, I do want to put some of this underneath, and I don't know if I've said it before. Probably I have, but I'll repeat it in case somebody new is watching. I always consider the weight of something. So in this case, we're talking visual weight. I wouldn't put this big chunk up there and this little one down here, because to me, there's always more weight at the bottom. Bottom meaning gravitational forces. So to me, this is a better arrangement than this is. Now, it isn't always as straightforward as that, because you also have to think about density of and color. So black is heavier in weight than white would be. I think I could extend this a bit, have it, hang off past the edge. Let's just lay out some of this black. The challenge, of course, with just working with two colors is that you need to layer them properly. Otherwise, it's that old line about winking at a girl in the dark. It may give you a warm glow, but she doesn't know it's happening. So to put something down and have it not be visible is a waste of supplies, in my humble opinion. So the reason this works is because we've got light, dark, light, dark. Now I wouldn't have such a straight edge there. So I'd sort of rip up the, okay, I'll do my usual thing. Let me hold this up so I can see. I think something is definitely needed there, but you know, another thing that could work is just sort of some, you know, so it's a bit more dense, more impactful. Okay, enough putzing, let's just do something here. And let's chop that a little more. So basically, I'm sort of roughly pleating. This is where it would be handy to have a glue gun plugged in. Don't really want to pull out a basting thread or anything like that. Okay. Maybe Fabri-Tac will hold a bit better. In the comments, you can tell me if you've ever done sort of a two-tone color scheme, and whether, you know, any tips or tricks, or did it turn out as you expected? Are you sorry you ever tried? Considering that I have a fair bit of lace, I sure don't use much lace. So maybe this will remedy that. The other day, I was sort of trying to get my desk a little organized, and horror of horrors, I looked at my art glitter glue, or no, my Fabri-Tac, and I see that cover is missing. OMG. Like, where could it be and when did it happen? Is that whole thing dried up? But maybe it had just been bumped and popped off. Let me find something. This isn't what I was looking for, but it might do. So basically, I'm just sort of cheat pleating. Is there such a word? You know, sort of just gathering it and letting the glue hold it. Not a particularly secure way, maybe, although there will be other things put over it. And by using this bone folder, I keep my hands a wee bit cleaner. And I'll see as this thing progresses whether or not I need to add any more glue anywhere else. Like, I like the fact that it is not plastered flat to the paper, but it may need something more. So this is nice, but it's probably too see-through unless I clump it together. That is part of the reason why I wanted to back this paper, because if it has to go over something as rough as that, then, you know, we want it to be able to, I think it has to be this more opaque one. And it's really hard to tell. Oh, I'd say that's the wrong side. Okay, so what I'm going to do is glue this down now. And to keep the positioning about right, I'm just going to do sort of half and half. I should have poked my corsage pin through there. I hope that you guys are well, that you're crafting your little hearts out. We have a Netflix membership. Do you remember the olden days when Netflix was really cheap? Well, I don't know how cheap, but I, as the queen of rationalization, could say, well, you know, that's a lot of entertainment for, what, $7 or $9 or whatever dollars it was a month. Like, you can't even buy popcorn for that price at a, you know, like a real movie. And then it went up and up and up and up. Anyway, the other day, I saw a new release called It Ain't Over. And of course, the rest of the line is, it ain't over till it's over. That was a Yogi Berra, one of his more famous lines. So I am not a baseball, fan or anything. Don't follow it to any degree whatsoever. But the reason I have a soft spot for that man, oh my goodness, another patch is needed. The reason I have a soft spot for that man is because of what he did to his expressions. Like, I love words. I've always loved words. I believe they entertain and inform and, clarify and instruct and amuse. Those are all the virtues of words. Of course, there are people who weaponize words and use them to hurt and obscure and confuse and manipulate and all of that. But then you get a guy like Yogi who, sounds like he was a heck of a character. I'm just looking for one more little scrap. I cannot believe that I'm still patching. Getting paranoid about that little corner there. Anyway, so because of, YouTube and obligations, it took me a couple of sittings to get through that one movie. But I just loved hearing the story. I'm so stunned. I didn't know. I knew he was a coach. I didn't know he had ever played. I didn't know he was a back catcher. I didn't know how darn good he was at everything he did. And so that was all eye-opening to me. Sounds like he had a very, was very much in love with his wife, and, they had a nice family and so on. Now I need to counterbalance that black with some more black. So let's see. Might it be this thinner one, narrower one? Anyway, so his granddaughter, oldest granddaughter, excuse me, was one of the narrators. And of course, they talked to other players and, colleagues and all kinds of people. I don't know how Billy Crystal got in there, but he was there as well, being interviewed. It was done very well because there was old footage, like, game day film and old photos, and along with, more recent stuff. So it basically opens with the granddaughter saying, and I don't remember who the other four guys were, but these four guys were 2015. These four guys were getting inducted into, I guess, the Sports Hall of Fame or something. And let me do this underneath. Maybe that's too narrow to carry the day here. Anyway, so this, I don't even know what her name is, but the granddaughter kind of runs through their stats and said, you know, my grandfather, whatever the measurement was, you know, it was runs brought in or strike, whatever the whole thing was, his numbers were better than those four guys combined. And so a little bit probably hurt and confused as to why are they getting recognition, and or like why has her grandfather been slighted in this way. So, you know, the rest of the thing is probably almost seems like it's making the case for, but it turned out that it was, you know, it was really a very interesting special as far as I was concerned. I learned so much. I loved, again, the word part of it. I thought it was funny. And George W. Bush, of course, wasn't exactly known for his oratory. Anyway, it was whatever the occasion was, I don't think they said. He has the microphone, and Yogi is in the crowd there. And he says, you know, about how not only was he a great baseball player, but about the mark that he's left on the English language. I'm thinking, he's not the only one, buddy. But anyway, I thought that was pretty cute. So I am sure that whether you know it or not, you have probably used some yogiisms in your day. It ain't over till it's over. It's deja vu all over again. That's another one I like. And I've been using some of those expressions, you know, like basically all my life. And of course, you know, some of his sort of math or mathematical kind of references. Baseball is 90% mental and the other half is physical or whatever, or vice versa. Anyway, the math doesn't add up. So I just found that really interesting. And that's basically what I wrote my column about this week. The power of this guy's words. And of course, I think he started playing in something like 46 or 47. And we know that bigotry has been alive and well for a long time. He was Italian. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, he's dead now. He was Italian. He was a little guy. He was only 5'7", which was another anomaly in the baseball world. He looked funny by most standards. He talked kind of funny by most standards. And he didn't get a lot of respect. I found out why his name, his real name is Lawrence, or Lawrence, or Larry. Lawrence, I think. Why they called him Yogi. I know that, never heard this before, that the cartoon Yogi Bear was basically kind of, you know, a ripoff of his character. Apparently, at the time, they went to court, you know, suing, what kind of a cease and desist kind of thing, and they lost because the judge said, well, Yogi isn't your real name, and you never copyrighted this the name. So he lost that. Found out that again, he was very much, you know, in love with his wife, a good family man, and knew how to hold a grudge, man. There was that, oops, I can't pick this thing up, that 14-year feud with George Steinbrenner. Again, all of this, I guess, was happening in real time, but when you're oblivious, you don't know. So, I should have roughened that up a bit. Nah, let's tear a corner or two, roughen that up. The better time to do that is before you glue it down, ladies and gentlemen. Do I want to lift this by any chance? Maybe have it go over? Yeah, maybe that looks a little more better. Speaking of grammar. Okay, I'm holding this up. Of course, the trick when you're trying to glue something round down is making sure that it is sort of, that it reads as level. So I'm going to use this word. I think I better use Fabri-Tac as the, you know, I'm going to try to make it level based on that. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. And there were several other expressions that weren't quite as popular, but still made a great deal of, you know, we're just so unique. And I think the reason he ended up being so, well, maybe it's a bit of an oxymoron. He certainly had the numbers and the impact to be considered one of the greats, or in some people's minds, the greatest. But because he had, I'm going to stand up for this, because he had these other quirks, you know, the face, maybe that only a mother could love, the funny voice, the little body, he never really got the respect he deserved either. So, yeah, he was, of course, teased for his looks. Well, today we'd say bullied. And that was by even the press. I thought it was interesting. Like, there was footage of, you know, his appearance on late night talk shows, daytime talk shows. So it's very jarring to see a daytime TV host just, you know, smoking up a storm there, asking questions. See, this doesn't seem like it's really making good contact here. Anyway, so excuse me, in one of those interviews, the guy says to him, you know, does it bother you when the press, you know, says these things about your appearance? And he says, the purpose of baseball is to hit the ball. And as far as I know, nobody has ever hit the ball with their face. Now, had it been another time and another era and so on, maybe there'd be somebody sort of analyzing all this and saying, you know, man was deeply hurt by this. But I think back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, you know, especially if you're a man, you're expected to suck it up and take it and so on. But I don't know. It seems like more often than not, people are kind of cruel to each other. Anyway, I just have a soft spot for the guy. I guess there was another thing that sort of didn't, he lived and died, and it was never settled, definitively settled. And that was, I don't remember, of course, what the game was. And even when I heard some of these details, it's kind of over my head or in one ear and out the other. Anyway, it was, I guess, of course, as a back catcher, you're supposed to be putting people out. And I guess it was Jackie Robinson that was, coming up to the base, to home plate. And, of course, this is long before there's instant replay or anything like that. He insisted to his dying day that he put him out. I guess Jackie Robinson insisted to his dying day. Is he dead? Anyway, insisted that he was safe. Somebody apparently did a frame by frame analysis, trying to, I guess what would be considered replay in this day and age, but I don't know that there was ever a definitive answer. There are two schools of thought, and I guess nobody is prepared to change their belief. It's one of those things, you say something so many times, it becomes entrenched, and most people don't have what it takes to admit that they were wrong. So I don't know what the truth is there. And frankly, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Okay, so again, this becomes a bit of an issue if the spine ends up being there. But then, like I say, I could always cover it with a doily or something. I'm not really liking how these two things are intersecting here. So something might have to happen there, but not at this moment. So maybe let's see what we can do on the back cover. I don't know if, like, this could easily become something inside the journal. I mean, it's going to be wide, and the journal is big enough, it could probably be a horizontal belly band, so maybe I should put that aside. These are mostly, do I want to use one of these fussy cuts? Oh, put the wrong pin in there. It's gotta be stainless steel. Okay. I mean, I could just, with some more patching and covering, I could just kind of overlap those two. That's getting very close to the seam, though. Not the seam, the spine. You can predict what's going to happen here, right? She's going to do some more patching. Because sure as heck, I want it to be someplace where that little thing will show. Yeah, so, with satellite TV packages of hundreds of channels and Netflix, we don't have any of the other things. You can have all that, and some days there's still nothing to watch. So it's always a good day when you find something that was worth your investment of time. Cutting her clothes. I'm kind of curious as to what year this book was. I'd almost think maybe the 30s or 40s. Like, I don't know. Should have Googled it maybe. Marie Antoinette. Okay. Now I can put anything I want anywhere I want. So let's try this again. Let's see. Okay, our spine could be as far over as that. Now, it is a wee bit disconcerting to have all this white space, so maybe I should do something there. Now, I obviously cut something out here. That's why there's that sharp. But I want it the torn look. And again, this paper basically almost just crumbles in your hand. It could be like so, I guess. Maybe it's better to have the straight edge against the edge. I feel like those two should be touching. And usually you want some connection between all your elements. This is just paperweight. I have this. Oh. Is that ink or is that dirt? Better not use it. Okay. Enough dithering. I'm going to break that down a bit more. I'm going to glue this baby down. And then figure out what to do next. Hold that thought. I'll probably add something. So, let's eeny meeny. Oh, go get a tea while this glue is flowing down to the tip. I'll have it extend a bit past the edge. Fairly liberal application of glue. I don't like this point here. Let's pull this guy down. Where's my doohickey? Let's chop that a little more randomly. And maybe it'll be safer to use this glue than the glue stick. So I'd be curious, you can tell me in the comments if you are working on any sort of Christmas projects. Are you annoyed by the interruption? Or are you glad to see something other than snowflakes and Santa? I wonder, this may be one of those covers that is going to need a coat off. I managed to glue that down crooked. Ugh. Come on, baby, you can do it. I'm gonna have to rip some of this just to disguise that a bit. See how there's always a solution? I am just wondering if that's going to be enough for the back cover for the time being. Okay, pretend. Whoa, look at that lovely thing. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. Oh, let's squeeze a little glue underneath there because this is going to be lifting and ripping. Maybe art glitter glue would have been the better choice. I didn't get close enough, I guess, to the edge. Mind you, I wouldn't have been able to. Not that I really slid it over. Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? Not so good. Not so fast, young lady. Well, that helps fill that huge expanse of white book page. Even more so. Good fussy cut around that. There's that little bit of something or other. Now this feels like it's floating out in space. I could put that up a bit. Put this over this. And hope that it's not all covered up by That other word is too much. Too heavy. I mean a picture without the... Let me tear along here. Maybe this is needed to balance that. That might be okay. I think that's what I'm going to do. Don't breathe. Okay, up to first, the word first right there. I suppose, but then that would probably... Okay, where's the first? First, where is it? Oh my goodness. Oh, right there. I was going to say, but that's probably too much of an afterthought at this point, that I could also, before covering the inside, do, just checking that we're still in contact. Okay, so here I'm 1/2 inch from the bottom, and this little point is right in this white space. What I had a fleeting thought there about, before the inside cover is done, to do some stitching, probably with black. I said 1/2 inch from the bottom, and about like so. That could probably make this all very busy, though. So that's probably not the best idea. Not the best idea I've ever had. See, I feel like this point has to touch. Okay, I'm gluing this down, and then we will be calling it quits. Now, there's really no lace to speak of on this back side. However, you know, if there ends up being lace down the spine. Anyway, I reserve the right to revisit this cover if I need to. I think she's going to be okay. Now I have to figure out what to do on the inside. This is rather a big empty space, but again, could very well be coming back to it. So look how little I have left. People. There's a little crumb over here. I'm going to be reckless and throw this away. I've got this. And these few things. And that is it, baby. So we will work on this again. Maybe by the time I bring it back, I will have figured out what to do on the inside cover. It could just be, you know, like a muslin that sort of matches this paper color. And I think if I were to stitch it, I would probably use like an ivory or something. Lift up these edges. But it would be good to do that after I have the inside figured out. And then I'm pretty sure that this will need to be sealed in some way. Anyway, it is not Christmas. Yay! Thank you for joining me, and we will see you next time. I hope that you tackle an envelope cover and have as much fun and crafting by the seat of your pants as I just did. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Bye.